What if God had bars and a target on his back?
This is the Deep Dive, a podcast powered by NeonKore Media. And today, it ain't just about Pac. It's about what happens when a man becomes a mirror for a whole generation's rage, pain, and power and dies before the world could decide if he was Messiah or menace.
Wow, yeah, that line just, it hangs there, doesn't it? Because with Tupac Shakur, it always felt like something huge was going on, something almost spiritual but tangled up in this like brutal street reality.
Totally.
We're going to try and get into that today, not just the facts, but the feeling, the force of him, all those contradictions that made him so compelling.
Absolutely. And you kind of have to start right at the beginning, don't you? His name, Tupac Amaru.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like popped out of thin air. It's got power. Named after Tupac Amaru II, the last Inca emperor, led that big rebellion against the Spanish.
Right, right.
And the name itself, it means intelligent warrior.
Intelligent warrior.
Oh,
man. Just let that sit for a second. From the very start, there's this destiny, this weight attached to him.
Yeah. And there's that story, isn't there? This sort of mystic belief in the family, maybe tied to that name, that he'd be loved, like revered, especially down in South America.
Yeah. Like they sensed he was meant for something big, something revolutionary maybe, but maybe just didn't quite know what or where.
It's a heavy inheritance. His mom, Afeni Shakur, huge in the Black Panther Party. His godfather, Geronimo Pratt, another Panther leader. I mean, this wasn't just a family that talked politics. They were right in the thick of radical activism. He grew up breathing that revolutionary air, that fight from day one.
You really can't overstate that. Hearing the language of resistance, seeing the cost of that fight up close. But, I always wonder, did he also inherit some of the letdown?
Yeah.
Disillusionment.
How could he not?
Seeing the Panthers targeted, broken up, seeing that dream kind of stall out, did that complicate the fire he had?
I think it had to. He saw the passion, right? The vision. But he also saw the government crackdowns, the infighting, the movement fracturing. So he carried that legacy, that hunger for change, but maybe also this deep skepticism about whether the old ways could actually win against that kind of power.
Yeah. That tension feels key. Hope and reality clashing inside him.
Definitely. And then, bam, you get this total shift. Baltimore School for the Arts.
It's almost like a different person hearing about him there, studying acting, poetry, jazz, ballet, performing in the Nutcracker. It just messes with the image most people hold,
Completely.
But think about what you get from that. Discipline, expression, understanding rhythm, story. Acting teaches you characters, how to step into someone else's shoes. You hear that in his songs later, right?
Totally, all those different voices.
Poetry sharpens the language, the metaphors. Ballet gives you that stage presence, that physical command. It wasn't just messing around. It was building the foundation for the performer he became. It makes so much sense looking back. The way he painted pictures with words, the dramatic delivery, how he could just hold an audience. That wasn't just raw talent. That was craft. Learned craft.
Precisely. And Baltimore also gave us that friendship with Jada Pinkett. So important.
The poems he wrote her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows this tenderness, this vulnerability that was always there, even if it got overshadowed later.
A reminder that before the bandana and the thug life tattoo, he was this sensitive kid figuring things out, pouring his heart into poems for a friend.
And the music bug was biting then too, wasn't it? Rap battles at school. Dana Mouse Smith beatboxing.
The seeds were there, but check this out. The music he was listening to back then. Kate Bush, Culture Club, Sinead O'Connor, U2.
Get out of here. Seriously.
Yeah. It tells you his mind was wide open, curious. He wasn't stuck in one box. He was soaking up different sounds, different ways to express things.
You can kind of hear that sometimes, can't you? Little traces of melody or structure in his later stuff that feels unexpected.
Yeah.
Gave his music that extra layer.
Showed he saw beyond just his immediate world. But then, the whiplash. The move to Marin City, California.
Oof. Yeah, that's where that outsider feeling really hits hard.
He talked about it, how he just didn't fit. Felt like gangs were targeting him, had to hide his poetry, felt like a nerd.
That's tough, man. Feeling out of place like that, even in a Black community.
And in that environment, the mentorship changes. It's not arts teachers anymore. It's street guys. He learns a whole different set of survival rules.
So you've got the poet, the actor, the dancer, the U2 fan crashing head on into this raw street reality.
Exactly. And that friction, that constant back and forth between those two worlds, that's where the fire gets lit. That's the crucible where all these different parts of him start melting together.
And his poetry finds its weapon, basically, rap. He starts using it directly for activism, right? Performing at benefits for Geronimo Pratt, people like that.
The connection is direct. He inherited the struggle and he picked up the mic to keep fighting it. It wasn't just about rhymes, it was purpose-driven from the jump.
Which just explodes with Tupacalypse Now in '91.
Ah!
Man, that album.
Unfiltered, just smacks you with the issues. Police brutality, racism, poverty, no easing you in, straight into the deep end.
And the reaction. Immediate. Intense. Vice President Dan Quayle himself calling him out, trying to get stores to pull the album.
Which, in a way, must have felt like validation, right? Proof he was hitting a nerve that the powerful were actually listening, even if they were angry.
Had to be.
And he talked about that technique, creating characters in his songs, like an actor, using them to show you these harsh realities from inside, trying to build empathy for lives people ignored.
He wasn't just narrating. He was becoming them. Using that performance training made it feel so real, so visceral.
And he always pushed back, didn't he? Said he wasn't promoting violence, just reflecting the violence that was already there, holding up a mirror. Caution tales, remember that quote?
Oh yeah, they claim that I'm violent just because I refuse to be silent.
Chills. That just flips the whole script. You don't like what I'm saying because you don't like the truth I'm showing. It's easier to call me violent than fix your violent society.
And nowhere is that clearer than Brenda's Got a Baby.
Oh man. That song, he took a newspaper story and spun it into this devastating epic.
Gut punch. It wasn't just about one girl. It was everything around her. The abuse, the family pressure, the poverty trap, the lack of choices. Innocence just gone, and a community barely holding on.
It was basically a political statement wrapped in a tragedy. It cracked open conversations rap wasn't really having yet, not like that. Showed the power of the genre for deep social commentary, groundbreaking stuff, forced people to look.
And out of all that reality, that struggle comes thug life, which, on the surface, people saw it as just glorifying being a gangster.
Right. But for Pac, it was way more complex. He kept trying to explain the acronym.
THUGLIFE.
The hate you give little infants Fs, everybody. It was about the cycle, how society treats marginalized kids, and how that breeds this specific kind of defiant survival mode, a code for the dispossessed, loyalty, resilience in a world that's hostile.
It wasn't just a catchphrase. It was a whole philosophy born from pain. And he actually formed the group, Thug Life. Trying to use music as a way out for people, right? An alternative to gangs.
Think about that contradiction, though. The idea is escape and transformation, but the image, the sound, some lyrics are undeniably raw, confrontational, thug life, motherfucker, I lick shots.
Yeah.
That duality, it confused people, definitely pushed some away, but maybe it was just honest, reflecting that constant tension he lived with, wanting something better, but always ready for the fight because his world demanded it.
Living in that world, he genuinely saw it as a war. His distrust of police, the justice system, that wasn't just talk.
Not at all. It was felt deep down. He saw them as biased, predatory towards black folks. Never trust the cop or the authorities because they don't give a f about minorities. He said it point blank. Came from experience, from history.
Feeling like the system was rigged to keep them down, trap them. That idea of being railroaded. End up behind bars for some cares I never did. The judge never spent a floor day on these streets. That's someone screaming against being judged by people clueless about his life.
You hear that feeling of being trapped, walls closing in so clearly in four-cornered room, staring at walls, counting days, the mental weight of being locked up. And the anger isn't just personal. It's at the whole damn structure that puts people there. Treats them like slaves, as he put it.
And even having a black president didn't fix that feeling for him, did it? Election day, black president showed that disillusionment. The symbol was there, but the reality on the ground, nah. Police brutality didn't stop. Systemic racism still felt baked in. Violence in schools. He felt this crushing powerlessness. And that's where you get those lines that are hard, but show such deep despair. It makes you want to holler, pick up the strap because we ain't got no power. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Wow, that I can't breathe. Decades before it became this huge rallying cry. He felt that suffocation way back then.
And he was also laser focused on economic inequality. He just couldn't stomach the massive gaps he saw.
Yeah, he was super critical. Like, how can one person win $36 million in the lottery when people are starving? How can stars have millions when others have nothing? He saw it as just fundamentally wrong.
And his view on the rich earning it was nuanced. Okay, maybe they worked for it. He'd kind of concede, but they still owed something back. A responsibility.
He felt that personally, didn't he? Said he felt guilty walking past someone needing help when he had cash. It wasn't just abstract, it bothered him deeply.
Yeah. He felt America failed black communities. Gave money to everyone else, but didn't invest in his people becoming self-sufficient. He warned, if help didn't come, it'd be too late. Like society would face some kind of karmic payback.
He wasn't talking small fixes either. He wanted revolutionary change. Build houses, not porno buildings. Put people first.
Radical stuff, straight from that Panther upbringing. And through all this chaos, all the criticism, he genuinely felt he was doing God's work in the hood.
God's work, that's a heavy claim.
It is, but it shows his sense of mission. Believing he was serving his community, speaking for the voiceless, shining light where others wouldn't look, he felt his work mattered, like on a spiritual level in those forgotten corners.
And that mission, that intensity, it just kept getting tested, beaten down by trauma. His life was like a magnet for conflict. That '93 shooting in Atlanta with the off-duty cops.
Yeah, messy. Conflicting stories, self-defense claims. It just shows how fast things could spiral into violence for him, even before he was huge.
Then the '94 sex abuse case in New York. The conviction on some charges, acquittal on others, that cast a huge shadow.
A really dark cloud. The victim's words, the judge calling it brutal violence, whatever the legal ins and outs, it got tangled up in his image, his own head. He apologized, tearfully even, but always said he didn't commit that crime. It just added more layers to the puzzle of who he was.
And just days before sentencing on that,
Yeah.
bam, the Times Square shooting, November '94. Shot 5 times, robbed, left for dead in that lobby.
Surviving that is one thing, but the trauma, immense. And for him, it instantly became this deep conviction he was set up by enemies, maybe people in hip-hop. He apparently felt like, I represent the Black community. Nobody would dare do this to me, which is just heartbreakingly naive, maybe, amidst all that danger.
The feeling of betrayal must have hurt worse than the bullets. And the pressure. Dragging himself out of the hospital against doctor's orders just to make it to court.
Unbelievable weight. Facing prison, recovering from being shot multiple times, the sex case fallout. It's enough to shatter anyone.
Yeah. And then, prison. He apparently thought it might be a chance to breathe, reset. But Dannemora, max security. Sounds like it was just another nightmare.
Reports say it was brutal. Humiliation, threats. He called it Dannemora trauma. It wasn't a break. It was just intensifying the war he felt he was in. Changed him deeply.
You hear it in Four-Cornered Room again. That trapped feeling, counting days, feeling locked up unfairly, and so many tears.
Oh, yeah. Lord lost so many years and shed so many tears. Suffered through the years. That song feels like the raw emotion pouring out from that time. The pain, the loss, just the sheer weight of it all. And all the while, the money pressure.
A recording family, crazy legal bills,
Yeah.
carrying everyone on his shoulders while fighting for his own life and freedom.
Adds another layer to the desperation, right? That feeling he had to win, had to make money because everyone was counting on him.
And then, the twist. October '95, Suge Knight drops the $1.4 million bond. Pac walks out.
Game changer. A lifeline, yeah, but it tied him directly to death row, to Suge's whole intimidating vibe, that gangster power. After feeling so exposed, so vulnerable in prison, you can kind of see the appeal, aligning with someone projecting that kind of strength, even if it came with its own dangers.
But the paranoia from the '94 shooting, it didn't go away. It festered. He suspected Andre Harrell, Puffy, Biggie, even though they all denied it.
The mistrust was just thick. That shooting created a wound that never healed, just got infected with rumors, whispers. That friendship with Biggie started with respect, ended in pieces. Apparently, letters he got in jail planted those seeds of doubt, and that was that.
Became this toxic brew of personal hurt and this escalating East Coast-West Coast beef, and his bond with Suge just seemed to get tighter.
Reports say he felt Suge got him, understood him when nobody else did. That line, "You ain't never had a friend like me." It wasn't just bragging. It felt like he'd finally found loyalty in a world that kept betraying him. Filled a void.
And from all that comes All Eyes on Me.
Oh.
Double album. Huge statement.
Totally. And you hear that duality again right across the two discs. Disc 1, pure victory lap, bravado, freedom, success, ambitions as a rider, California love. It's celebrating, making it almost defiant, linking back to that anger about inequality.
It feels like a party, but there's an edge, isn't there? Like he knows it could all fall apart. That description, a block party with grenades under the table,
Yeah.
that nails it. Celebrating, yeah, but the danger, Suge's shadow is right there.
And then disc 2 flips. It gets darker, more reflective, fatalistic even, paranoid. Only God can judge me. Life goes on. Heaven ain't hard to find. That's the Dannemora trauma echoing. The success is real, but so are the scars, the fear, the sense that maybe time is running out.
It makes you wonder, looking back at that album, was he just flexing? Or was he warning us, warning himself maybe?
Feels like both, honestly.
Yeah.
Living the high life he wanted, but hyper-aware of the dangers closing in. And that East Coast-West Coast rivalry just poured fuel on the fire.
He became ground zero for that after the '94 shooting. Took it so personally, vowed to destroy Bad Boy.
It wasn't just rap beef anymore. It felt like real war. Diss tracks like, hit him up.
Yeah.
Man, those weren't just rhymes. They were pure venom. Personal attacks. And the public stuff like Suge at the Source Award.
It's like I'm to death row. Yeah.
That drew the line publicly. Force everyone to choose sides. And then Biggie drops, who shot ya? Even if it was recorded before, the timing felt like pouring salt in the wound, like a taunt.
Just escalated everything. The whole atmosphere felt thick with paranoia, tension, like violence could pop off any second. You hear that building in his later music.
Definitely. Even before the official Makaveli album, you hear those themes in tracks like Hellraiser, Only Fear of Death. It's all mortality, paranoia, feeling hunted. They want to bury me, I'm worried. Look down the barrel of my 9 and my vision's blurry.
That feeling of being trapped, alone, even with all the fame. I put the pistol to my head and say a prayer. That's not just lyrics, man. That feels like desperation. Mama raised a Hellraiser, life in the ghetto, do or die.
It all comes back to that state of war, inside and out. And that line from Only Fear of Death you brought up earlier sums it all up. Peace of love who shot. Y'all separate the weak from the opposite. Trust nobody.
Trust nobody. After everything, the betrayals, the system, the violence. It's just the ultimate expression of that paranoia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Living in a world where he felt utterly alone, unable to trust anyone.
And yet, amidst all that darkness, all that anger, all that fear, you get Dear Mama.
Ah, that song. It's
What?
just pure, raw love. A totally different side of him.
It really is. It's about his mom's strength, her sacrifices, their struggles, but filtered through this deep, unwavering love and respect. For a woman, it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed. A poor single mother on welfare, tell me how you did it. You feel his gratitude, how foundational her love was for him.
Such a necessary contrast to the thug life image. Humanizes him completely. An unconditional love, too, that loyalty he craved, those bonds you needed to survive his world.
Never treated me bad, no matter what was this game. Finding that core support system in a brutal environment, but you can't pull that apart from the harsh reality he lived and rapped about.
The war zone. He wasn't exaggerating, was he?
No, that was his reality. He talked about it straight up. It's not like he wants to kill, he doesn't want to die. That line just reframes everything. It's not about aggression, it's self-preservation in a place where death felt close. Living stacked up 80 deep, carrying guns because the cops patrolling his neighborhood had rifles and riot gear.
He flipped the whole gun argument way back then.
Yeah.
Said for black men where he came from, a gun wasn't about crime. It was about staying alive.
Yeah.
Self-defense against a world trying to crush you.
Yeah.
And how the media twisted that image.
Always challenging those biases. Felt he had to show the ugly truth, the violence, because ignoring it was a lie, forcing people to face the results of neglect and oppression.
And he didn't hold back calling out people he felt should have been allies, like Jesse Jackson criticizing rappers.
Yeah, he felt that was a betrayal. Like, shouldn't they be fighting with them against injustice, not attacking the art that came from that struggle, that brutal line about Jackson?
Yeah.
He should be the last person talking about gun violence when he sat right there while Martin Luther King caught one in the neck. Just connect it right back to the history of violence against black leaders. Damn.
He saw himself as a leader too, didn't he?
Ah.
But different. Not controlling people, but inspiring them maybe.
Yeah.
Following his own path.
A complex kind of leadership, yeah. And it's weird, he didn't seem to push hard to find out who shot him in '94. Talked about karma, what comes around goes around.
I probably figured the police weren't going to do much anyway. More of that deep distrust.
It all seems to circle back to not having a father figure. He talked about craving family, how that lack made him embrace all black people with his face, which he saw as maybe both good and bad, a weakness even.
Felt he missed out on key lessons, right? Learned the treacherous street game from pimps, hustlers, dealers instead. Lamented that, wondered if he could have been a lawyer, helped his mom more.
That sense of what if is tragic, knowing how it ended. Feeling that weight of family responsibility, paying bills, feeding everyone. Felt he had to keep thugging, if that's what brought in money. But he also felt proud he hadn't embarrassed his people.
He carried so much. The ambition, the pain, the rage, the love, the contradictions, all fueling that impact he had. Which is why his story still isn't really over, is it?
Not at all. The arrest, the trial of Dwayne Keefty Davis for the murder, it just pulls it all back into focus. Decades later, the questions are still there, and Billy Garland, his father figure, still thinks it was a government setup.
Just adds another layer to the mystery, doesn't it? Always this feeling there was more going on, more to the story, more to his death than we know. Maybe Pac didn't die. Maybe he just ran out of time to finish becoming who he already was.